Welcome, people. Welcome to Armchair Gaffers. This is the Continental Corner brought to you by myself, Wrong and Strong. Got Letij, the new people's champ, and none other than Mo Salad from the Mo Salad Live show.
I don't have a show, bro. I just hop on one thing and another, do my little articles, and what I'm trying to say, just do my own little,
Yeah, you're probably the worst football pundit I've come across this year.
You know what it is? I'll let you get away with that one because I don't have the energy to, I'm trying to come back at you. But I'll catch you on Judge Mo's podcast next, and then we'll have that conversation again. But
we will see. We'll see about that. I may never go back. TJ, how are you doing before we progress?
Very good, man. Very good. How are you?
How do I sound?
You sound what's that song? So I think to myself,
what a wonderful world. How do I look?
Man, I like that.
Everyone else hates this.
Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna do that nonsense where you switch between cameras again?
No. Guys, so cool. This is the Continental Corner. We should be live on Instagram, by the way. I'm not sure if we are, but we should be. I don't know. Cool. This is the Continental Corner where we cover everything happens in Europe, all the big leagues, and the SPL. SPL?
What, the Saudi Pro League, yeah?
The Saudi Pro League.
That's my yeah. I'm fully in it. I'm there. I'm with it.
I'm really not with it. I'm trying shit. I really don't think it's SPL. We're gonna start before we start the European show. Liverpool into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
5-1 win over West Ham. I didn't see the game. Did you lot catch it?
Not at all.
I was watching Marseille.
Okay, perfect. So we don't care about the Carabao Cup, yeah?
No.
I've just put a poll on Twitter and YouTube and that saying, what would you guys rather? Would you rather your team wins the Carabao Cup or secures Champions League qualification? So just finishes in the top 4.
Definitely top 4.
TJ? Coming from a team that doesn't do anything.
I need a trophy, man. I haven't won a trophy since 1996.
Oh, you're a Tottenham fan?
I'm a Villa fan.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. It's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one. I would love Champions League football, but I just need to see. I need to see
one of my favorite teams in world football right now. Like without a shadow of a doubt. Like Unai Emery is one of my favorite coaches. Love Unai Emery. Like the players that they've brought in, everything just makes so much sense. I love Villa, bro. Like just watching them play, and then there's this facade or image that Unai Emery plays pragmatic defensive football, bro. Villa have been playing teams off the park this year, bro. Man City couldn't get a sniff against them. They had 0 XG after 9th minute when they had their 2 silly shots on goal. Like Villa are incredible, man. Like, and they've backed Unai Emery. They've got him the players that fit what he does, and they're thriving, man. Absolutely incredible team. Love Aston Villa.
Thank you, Mo Salad. The fact that people are talking about my team in this vein when 6 years ago we were away to Blackpool is pretty incredible.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat. You see, I love them kind of stories in it because obviously I'm a Napoli fan. So I've been down in the dumps and I know what it is to now be spoken in certain conversation. It's just, and you just got to show respect where it is. And Villa are incredible, man.
Can you explain how you're a Napoli fan? Like, how did it happen?
Oh, my dad grew up in Naples, got a lot of family in Naples. So I've been going back and forth since I was a kid. And that's obviously it's pretty boring to be fair, but
yeah, no, fair enough. I've been to Naples, and when I went there, no one told me that it was the ghetto.
It's not that bad. You just need to know where to go. You just need to know where to go.
I didn't say it's bad. Ghetto's not bad, but it is the ghetto.
Yeah, no, but it's also very beautiful in the summer when you go to obviously southern Italy, where all the beaches and all the places you can go and all of these cool little pictures that you see on IG. It's all in Naples and southern Italy. So.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But anyway, guys, we are going to start with we're going to look at the Champions League round of 16 draw, guys. So these are the matchups. We have Porto versus Arsenal, Napoli versus Barcelona, Lazio, Bayern, PSV versus Dortmund, PSG versus Real Sociedad, Inter versus Atletico Madrid, FC Copenhagen versus Manchester City, and RB Leipzig versus Real Madrid. Guys, where do we think? Do we do any upsets, or do we think it's going to be business as usual?
I think, speaking of Napoli, I think Napoli knock out Barcelona. I know Napoli aren't having an amazing season at the moment, but Barcelona about 20 minutes ago just scraped a 3-2 result against Almeria, who haven't won a game in the Liga yet, and they're bottom of the table. I don't know why everyone's saying that Man City have got an easy draw.
They have.
They don't.
They do.
They do. All right, let's go through the fixtures from Porto. Well, from left to right. Porto versus Arsenal. The last time Arsenal won a knockout stage game, 2009-10. No, not 9-10. 2000. Long time ago, was actually against Porto. Can we see any upsets here, or is it going to be another Arteta Ball masterclass? Mo?
I think it's going to be a comfortable progression into the quarterfinals for Arsenal. Obviously, Porto aren't. If there's going to be an upset anyway, it could be here because Porto are somewhat veterans in the round of 16. They get there almost every single year. They qualify from time to time. But the way Arsenal are playing, the way Arteta's got his team set up, I don't see this being the upset. I don't see this being the team that knocks out Arsenal in the Champions League.
Okay, cool. TJ, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's an easy one for Arsenal. Might be a draw at the at Porto's place, but I see like a 4-1 or a 4-0 at the Emirates. Don't think there's much in this one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Porto, they're third in the Liga Nos, but they're only like 1 or 2 points off top spot. But I think it's a different caliber of competition between the Premier League and Liga Nos. So we'll move on from there. Next one, we're going to go to Napoli, Barcelona. The first leg is at the Diego Armando. What's it called? The stadium?
The Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. It changed after he passed away. It used to be called the Stadio San Paolo, but they changed the name recently.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. Guys, I think Napoli win this game, but I don't think it's an upset because Barcelona.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, I think they're two teams on a similar level right now. Both teams aren't playing well. Napoli, even though we were champions, if this was last year's Napoli versus this Barcelona, like this would be the easiest draw I could have asked for. But we're not playing at that level. Obviously, things can change from now till then. I do give ourselves the slight edge in that game. But I think in all eight of these games, I think there's only 2 that are neck and neck, and this is one of those.
2 or 3, 2 or 3 that are neck and neck. But the rest,
I don't even see a third one. I think there's 2 games that are neck and neck, and well, actually maybe 3 if you count Borussia Dortmund and PSV. But everyone else is pretty favorable.
Yeah, true. Chris, what are your thoughts? TJ, sorry. What are your thoughts on Napoli versus Barcelona?
I think obviously Napoli aren't doing too well at the moment, but really Napoli's kind of outlook has kind of been, last season they won the Scudetto. So a lot of us kind of have raised our kind of expectations for Napoli. This season probably is more of a more normal Napoli season that you've seen over the past 10 seasons. But Barcelona are bleeding, man. Barcelona are bleeding. I know they're still third in La Liga, which, to be honest, it is La Liga. It's there's not many teams in it. Lewandowski looks to have fallen off. He's not really a game winner anymore. The whole João Felix thing, it's a bit of a concept. It looks nice on paper, but are they really? Has he elevated the team? So I think at Barcelona's temporary stadium, it might be like a 2-1, a 2-2. But when it comes to the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, I think Napoli will get like a 2-0, maybe even a 3-0, because Barcelona are leaking goals now as well.
Cool. Well, the first leg is at Napoli, so I think if Napoli do what they're meant to do, it's a foregone conclusion.
I think if we get any kind of win at home, I don't see them overturning that. But then again, we're also leaking goals. Our back 5 has been horrendous this year. Our goalkeeper is terrible. So,
who is your back 5 at the moment?
If everyone's healthy, it would be Alex Merritt in goal, Di Lorenzo at right back, which is the only competent player we have in the back 5, and then you've got probably Rahmani and Nathan and Mario Rui at left back.
Okay, no names I'm familiar with, so it doesn't sound too
Yeah,
reassuring.
it's not. It's not. But it'll be an interesting tie. But I do expect us to get the win. It is one of the teams I would have loved to have of all the group winners. This was my second or third preferred choice in my opinion.
Yeah, didn't Barca lose to
Antwerp.
Antwerp? They did, didn't they?
Yeah, but it didn't matter. They rested quite a few players. They didn't need to win that game because regardless of what happened, they were gonna win the group. So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, lose to Antwerp. There's no justification for that at all. Can we see any kind of upset in Lazio versus Bayern Munich?
no,
No.
Is it worth even talking about?
no,
No, not really.
Mo, how are Lazio doing in the Serie A?
not well. I think they're like 7th or 8th.
And who's their gaffer again?
Mauricio Sarri, actually. Decent.
Sarri, isn't it? Yeah,
They
that's the
finished
one.
second last year. They've lost one or two key players in the summer. They haven't adequately replaced them, and those cracks are showing. But they still do keep the ball well. They are still good in possession. They still press well. Like a typical Maurizio Sarri kind of team. I mean, they play good football. It's just not clicking for them for some reason. Like there's nothing you can say is the reason for them falling off as they did, apart from the fact that maybe they haven't replaced one or two of their key players. But otherwise, they've been not good.
Cool. So we're going Bayern Munich winning both legs home and away.
Comfortably.
Lovely. Next game for me, Dortmund versus PSV. There's a PSV player I want to shout out because I saw him play against Arsenal in the.
That's you're actually 11th in this area. Just
Ooh.
checked, just confirmed.
So 11th in Serie A. That's like the equivalent of being like first in the
50th.
championship.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe.
That's crazy.
I joke. No, cool. So PSV, Dortmund. I saw PSV play against Arsenal. And Noah Lang is somebody I like the look of a lot. He seems to be I don't know, I feel like who can I compare him to in the Premier League? He's like a poor man's Jared Bowen. Which isn't a bad thing.
No, Jared Bowen's a baller.
Yeah. So I think that's one to watch out for.
I know you come with some wild comparisons, so let's relax it.
Bro, please.
Some wild shit, bro.
That's not wild at all. However, Dortmund for me, who are they playing?
Who's the player? Who's the player? Who's the player that compares to Jared Bowen? By the way, you didn't say.
No, I said Noah Lang.
Oh, okay.
Noah Lang, yeah. Dortmund for me, they look bad. They got that bald-headed guy. What's his name again? Daniel Malin.
Daniel Marlon, yeah.
I think he's so terrible.
He's Memphis Depay, but just not as swazzy. He's a good finisher, and he's got kind of like a good pace over 5-10 yards. But do you know what I like? As I kind of look at football opinions as stocks. So every week I go to the stock market. I take out stocks, I buy stocks. I sold my stocks in Borussia Dortmund. Last season. I'm not just selling stocks. I'm now trying to manipulate the market, get everyone else to sell their stocks in Dortmund. Because they're so annoying. Because we all want them to be good. We all look at the Signal Iduna, we go, what a stadium. They've given us some great players over the time: Dembele, Marco Reus, Götze, Sancho, maybe, I don't know, Bellingham, obviously. And I just want PSV to just send them on their way and leave.
You sound like such a hater. It's crazy.
Man, I'm a top tier hater. When I don't like a football team, it's normally because I don't like the fans or anything. It's because I've really just believed in them and they've let me down. But speaking of PSV, shout out Johan Bakayoko.
That's the one.
Chelsea signs the wrong PSV winger.
What one did you sign?
Madueke.
Is that where he came from?
Yeah.
Via Tottenham.
After Tottenham. So he went to Spurs, PSV, and then Chelsea bought him for 35, I think.
I did hear recently that Madueke is upset about his lack of playing time at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's not very good.
I would be upset too if Michaela Mudryk is getting more minutes than me, to be fair.
Oh, trust me, bro. Trust me.
Can you blame him?
His underlying stats, Madueke's underlying stats, he doesn't really have much end products, but he's got very good underlying stats, like successful take-ons. I think he's top percentile, dribble top percentile. So he's causing issues to wing backs. Just after he gets past them, he's causing issues to his own team.
Yeah, but Modric can't even get past him to get into positions to do something with it. He's one of the worst football players I've ever seen. But
he's one of the worst football players. When Modric receives the ball, his first touch, you're like, oh, okay. And then it just goes downhill. The minute he starts dribbling with the ball, it's like, what the hell? But do you guys think, on a little segue, had Modric joined a different team, not Chelsea, do you think it would be better? Not Chelsea, not Man United. Do you think he would be a better player?
I just don't think he's got it in him, to be fair. I just don't think he's good. I think he's living off 45 minutes against 50-year-old Carvajal in the Champions League during COVID. I don't think he's ever been that good. I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, I feel like Arsenal dodged the bullet because you would have wasted a lot of, because Arsenal's not like a Chelsea where you can spend 100 million on a player, him flop, and then go back in January and spend 100 million. Like you budget really, really well, might I add. But you would have signed him, and it would have taken away from maybe Declan Rice, maybe somebody else. So you dodged a massive bullet. I
think he would have been better at Arsenal. I don't think we would call him as bad as he is now. I think if he went to Arsenal, we'd probably be saying that they definitely overspent for him, but there would be something there. I think the issue is at Chelsea that he kind of came into a Chelsea team that didn't have an identity. Potter didn't really have much of an identity that he put on the players, and then obviously he's trying to get clout from a managerial tactic of Frank Lampard, which is not going to give him much clout either. He looks slightly better under Poch, and I can see why people do give him some type of promise, because he is purebred speedster over short yardage. He kind of faces a man on very quickly. He does get past players quite regularly. If he picks on the ball in midfield, he might skip past one. But the best way, huh?
I said he'll skip past him, but then it'll go out for a throw in.
Yeah, well, this is the issue. Last night against Newcastle, he got the ball on the right wing. He went to line up for a shot. I said goal kick, and it was in fact a goal kick.
Wow. Okay, cool. So, just so we haven't said PSV versus Dortmund. Who are we expecting to go through?
Dortmund.
PSV.
PSV.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually think PSV could go through. This is one of those games can go. I don't think there is a favorite here.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's an overwhelming favorite. I think this is by default the bigger team, Dortmund. We're looking at them as the favorites, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if PSV went through. Caleb in the comments said, what happened to Bella Koch up at PSV? He's there starting centre back, and there's not much to report really. He's literally just there. The next tie, PSG versus Real Sociedad. Now, for me, this is not an easy tie for PSG. What are you guys' thoughts?
2 words: Takefusa Kubo. I think, and as I was going back to stocks, I'm gonna buy a stock that's insanely cheap right now, but might give me a bit of upside. I think Sociedad might do something here. I really, really do. They're not playing bad in the Liga. They're playing well. Obviously not as good as teams like Girona, Real Madrid, and even Barcelona, but Barcelona a bit like Man United. They've just got that main character syndrome. They'll churn out results here and there. But Sociedad, they play very, very nice football. They've got good players: Zubamendi, Takefusa Kubo, and sorry,
or Oyarzabal.
Oyarzabal as well. Yeah, Oyarzabal. They've got a good team, and I think the issue with PSG is PSG are a bit like they've got this thing where they just need to sell Mbappe. They really just need to sell Mbappe, because as good as Mbappe makes them, it's a bit of a Harry Kane factor where, yes, the tunnel that you have to go through is a very strong tunnel, but there's only one tunnel that you can go through in order to get to the other side. And when you've got a player that just attracts that much ball attention, he hasn't got the most amazing attitude, especially when you see that.
You're putting it kind. His attitude is disgusting. Like I think you're putting it mildly. I think his attitude stinks. Like I've never seen him work for the team. Like I was watching the game against, was it Newcastle? And I think Miley got the ball off him on the halfway line, and he just stood there and said no.
Whatever.
It was on the halfway line as well, and it was like, and that kind of epitomizes killing Mbappe. he's very much a me, myself, and I type player.
Yeah.
And I feel like he doesn't respect PSG to the point where whereas if you go to Real Madrid and you try that shit, you're getting a white handkerchief because they've done that to Zidane and Ronaldo and the other Cristiano Ronaldo who are a million times better than you might ever be. So I don't know how he's gonna. I don't know how that move's gonna. Like the superstar shit doesn't work in Real Madrid. Like you go to Real Madrid and the level of superstar you are, they've got it in midfield, they've got it on the wings, like they've got it everywhere. So
yeah, Papa Perez doesn't play. Papa Perez does not play. And I agree with you with Mbappe. I think he is bigger than PSG. His attitude stinks, but to be honest, he basically almost won his country a World Cup against the greatest player of all time, against all of the odds. I can see why Mbappe thinks does what he does. At the end of the day, like when you've got the president of your nation that you play in begging you to stay. Imagine Rishi Sunak begging Harry Kane to stay at Spurs. Do you know what I mean? It would be it would be pretty. I think Harry Kane's head might get a bit bigger, but again PSG they're in Dortmund where it's like they've stagnated. I think they hit a bit of a ceiling. I like players like Kang In Lee. I think Dembele has kind of added a different aspect to their way of style. I like Vitinha as well. But
Zaire Emery has been so impressive, by the way.
Yeah, he's a baller. But that's the thing with PSG. Because their tactic lacks kind of any care to a midfield. If they bring in a competent midfielder, no matter what his age is, he is going to look pretty good because they basically just play a 4-2-4. Not even a 4-2-4. They play a 2-2-6, essentially.
I'm actually quite surprised that PSG aren't playing that well this year because, in my opinion, this is probably the best summer they've had in terms of the players that they brought in. Because usually PSG, they bring in these big names, like the biggest name available is who they'll bring in. But they actually brought in lesser known players, but who kind of fit what they're trying to do or fit how they're trying to play. Like Lucas Hernandez, not the biggest name. Skriniar, not the biggest name. Kolo Muani, yeah, of course, a lot of people wanted him, but that's not the type of profile they usually get. So part of me thinks they're actually already building for life after Mbappe.
They're do you know what? I hear what you're saying, but they're a French Chelsea in the fact that they've brought in lesser players, but they literally just have kind of stacked up a bunch of players that they saw had really good potential on FIFA 24. Milan Skriniar, I like him, but you can play anyone at centre back for PSG. Lucas Hernandez, good player, but obviously not quite the heights of his brother. But you look at Kang In Lee, they bought the striker.
That was another one. Sorry.
Striker, the Portuguese one.
Gonzalo Ramos.
They bought Kang In Lee. They've bought Marco Asensio. They've bought Ousmane Dembele. They've brought in Manuel Ugarte as well. And these are good players, but none of these players point to a specific system. It really just feels like they've just kind of got the best players of a specific.
Yeah, I don't agree with you. I think take Mbappe out of that team, then you can kind of see the direction they're moving in. Because with Mbappe, even though you're bringing a lot of these talented players in, your main purpose is still try and get Mbappe as involved as possible. But if he's not there, you have all of these other very, very good players, and then you can kind of mold them into what you want them to do as a coach. Because the pressure of Mbappe is no longer there.
To be fair, I do agree with that in that aspect. I think maybe Mbappe might be tinting my glasses a bit because whenever I see PSG sign players that aren't benefiting Mbappe, I think to myself, like, what are we actually doing?
He brought all his boys from the France team. Like he brought his group chat. Someone said on Twitter, like he hollered at the group chat, Kolo Muani, Dembele, all of these players that you were in the youth team with together, and it's crazy.
Like, yeah, guys, you might as well come along.
What's happening with Hugo Ekitike? He signed him last year.
I think the Gonzalo Ramos signing and Kolo Muani signing is just kind of put the nail in the coffin. Is he on loan or is he still there?
I think he's still there.
Yeah,
just not playing at all. Not too sure. So with this tie, PSG versus Real Sociedad, we are saying tricky tie for PSG, but to scrape through.
I think PSG probably get through, but I did tweet and a lot of people kind of got at me. I was like, PSG got lucky. I'm not saying that because Real Sociedad aren't good. I'm just saying compared to what they could have gotten, they did get the shorter end or the longer end of the stick because they could have got Man City and they could have got Bayern Munich because when you finish second, that's the caliber of team you're looking at.
Arsenal.
You're right. I think Arsenal would have wiped the floor with them. I'm being honest. Like, it's just
Easily.
even Atletico Madrid, if they had got, like, there's about 4 or 5 teams that finished. Real Madrid as well was a team they could have got.
Do you know what? Actually, I think if PSG got. I think if PSG got Arsenal.
Any of these 4 or 5 teams, they absolutely wiped the floor with PSG the way they're playing now. The only 3 teams they could have got where they have a chance of doing well is if they couldn't have got Borussia Dortmund anyway, is Real Sociedad and
Lazio.
And Lazio finished second. I mean, like the first place teams.
Oh yeah, they were second, weren't they? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the only other team that was not as good as Real Sociedad was probably
Atletico.
Atletico would wipe the floor with them, I think. Like, I think all of the teams they could have got are probably better than PSG. That's why this is probably the ideal team they would, if they could have handpicked anyone. This is the team they could have got. Man City, they could have got Bayern Munich, or Barcelona is another one they could have probably beat.
Yeah, I think they could have beat Dortmund as well.
They couldn't have got Dortmund because Dortmund were in their group.
Oh yeah.
Dortmund in their group. So the only 2 teams that they could have got that they can even have a sniff against is Barcelona and Real Sociedad. Because Bayern's beating them, Man City's beating them, Arsenal's beating them, Atletico Madrid is beating them, Real Madrid is beating them. So,
okay, cool. Before we go on to the next game, what do you guys make of this year's round of 16 draw? Everyone's saying that it's a very, very meaty draw, but I don't think it is. Or am I just saying that because I'm happy to be here?
No, it's a silly argument by fans who aren't here, because if you look at this round of 16 draw, it's teams that you always see in the round of 16. Man City are always there, Porto are always there, PSG are always there, Napoli are there more times than not, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Leipzig. These are all teams that are there.
I think it's the Sociedad, the PSV, and the Copenhagen.
Yeah, that's kind of the teams like that always make it out of the group. There's always 1 or 2 teams that make it out of their group that shouldn't have made it. That's just how the Champions League is.
A lot of people aren't really respecting clubs like PSV, Copenhagen.
Let me look at last year's draw.
Like, because like I don't know. Like, I think one thing that people like are not understanding is that this is over 6 games. Like, this is 6 games. It's not the World Cup where you play each team in your group once and you just have to play good for 3 years. This is 6 games. So teams like Copenhagen are a good team. Obviously, they're not the same level as Bayern Munich, Real Madrid.
So here's the teams that were playing last year, right? You got Liverpool versus Real Madrid.
Wait, hold on 1 sec. Yep, go.
Okay, so PSG played Bayern. They're both here again. Inter Milan and Porto, they're both here again. Chelsea and Dortmund, Chelsea aren't here. Napoli had Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt is like the Copenhagen or the PSV. That's that one team. You had Tottenham versus Milan. You had Club Brugge versus Benfica. You had Leipzig versus Man City. So it's literally the same thing apart from Chelsea, Liverpool, Eintracht Frankfurt.
Porto were here last year, yeah?
Yeah, Porto were here last. Okay, so I mean Benfica, sorry. Benfica were in last year's round of 16.
And not Porto, so that's like for like.
No. They were both in there last year.
Oh wow!
Club Brugge was in there last year. Eintracht Frankfurt was in there last year. So it's all. So you're gonna get the same usual teams are always there, and you're gonna get 2 or 3 teams that shouldn't be there because they overachieved in their group. The only thing is the fact that Liverpool are not there. Like, if you have Liverpool versus Barcelona instead of Napoli or whatever, everyone's gonna be like, oh yes, it's so competitive. But it's just the fact that certain people's teams aren't there. But it's the exact same every year. Like, it's about 12 or 13 teams that were in the last year's round of 16 not in it this year. It's a silly argument. It's a stupid, makes no sense argument.
I thought that it was just me that thought that, but thank you for clarifying that for us, Mo. That's why you're the best Napoli pundit on Twitter. Next one, we got Inter Milan versus Atletico. Now, Inter are flying in Serie A. They are currently second. I think they're only 2 points behind Juve. I don't know. Yeah.
But they've been by far the best team in the league, like by far. Like,
blowing out everyone. Look good, and so has Thuram as well, who I don't like one bit.
Why?
Because he spat at someone when he was at Mönchengladbach.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then in the World Cup, he was just horrible. He was like proper, just dead. And I was like, yeah. So that it's literally because of that. Atletico, they're not doing great in La Liga, are they? Are they even fourth?
They're this is the thing with La Liga. La Liga is kind of in a transition period. Atletico are getting by. I think Atletico are kind of just feeling the effects of a league that's kind of a bit shook. That Girona are top. I think
they're fourth. They're 3 points behind Barcelona.
Yeah, but they have 9 points off the top.
Yeah. 9 points off the top. Yeah.
Girona have set a pretty good pace. Girona and Real Madrid have only lost one game all season. Atletico have lost 4.
They could get to 50 points by the halfway point of the season, which is insane. Like that 50-point mark after 19 games is ridiculous.
I think Atletico are just trying to find consistency. But I think Atletico is interesting. Do you know what? It's a very interesting game. I'm like, it possibly might be the tie of the round. Because Atletico have got a very good attack, Inter have got a very good attack. Griezmann is doing what Griezmann does. He's kind of flushed out that Barcelona stint out of him. The issue with Atletico is they're just they're not. Their defense isn't as good as we've seen over current seasons. Kind of might happen when you get Cesar Azpilicueta to play left back for you. I love Cesar, but he's stealing a living. He is eating off of those Champions Leagues. Absolutely eating off of those Champions Leagues.
He doesn't even start for them though. Like he's always like the 70th, 75th minute kind of guy.
Yeah, we can't say he's stealing a living because there are people out there who are stealing more of a living than him, like Jadon Sancho, Anthony, and Marcus Rashford. So and
Michaela Mudryk. But then again, he raised money for his country, so that's a completely different. he was a pawn in a
in a much bigger game.
In a bigger game, exactly.
Yeah, for real. I want to say this is going to be a tricky encounter, but that's just me thinking about old Atletico.
No, you're right, bro. I think this is definitely the I mean, Atletico are, in my opinion, still one of the bogey teams in the Champions League. Like they over 2 legs, bro. You don't want to see that team unless you've got Cristiano Ronaldo on your team. That's one team you don't want to see ever, especially when they're playing the way they're playing now, because they can still shut up shop at any point. They can still say, you know what, we're doing, but then like they're playing a different type of attacking football now as well. Griezmann's like one of the best players in the world right now.
Oh, sorry, I'm glad you said that because that's my next point. I feel like Antoine Griezmann is one of the best players of our generation.
Oh yeah, 100%, definitely. Like, I don't disagree with that.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
I can get on board with it.
There was a time where he said something, everyone laughed at him, and he goes, I sit at the same table as Ronaldo and Messi. Everyone's like, now you're serving them. I mean, he doesn't sit at that table, but like he's
but that table is his own table.
Oh yeah, 100%, definitely.
But if we expanded that table to, let's say, like 40 players, he would be at that table.
Oh yeah, 100%. Him, Suarez, that kind of.
I think he just became Atletico's either second or first top scorer of all time the other day. I think so. I saw something on Instagram. He scored a goal that broke some type of record. But yeah, he's got 11 goals.
He leveled Luis Aragonés as Atletico Madrid's all-time top scorer.
Yeah, I think Griezmann's cold. And the thing is, what I like about Griezmann is that, what do you guys call him? Is he a number 10?
He's a football player.
He's a 10.5.
He's a football player, bro. Like I've seen Griezmann play on the wing and put in work. I've seen him play in the front 2 and play in work, and I've seen him play as a sole number 9 and put in work. Like he's just I love Griezmann.
He's so good. As a floating 8 for France in the last World Cup.
Yeah, and he was their best player.
Yeah,
I think he was France's best player at the World Cup, and he was picking up the ball from deep, from like Chouameni and Rabiot in the center circle and spraying it about. Like Griezmann's just absolutely incredible. Like, I could talk about him for a very long time.
It was the World Cup that made me realize how good he is, because that floating 8 role that you guys just called it, I was like, this isn't easy what he's doing, but he's making it look effortless. I was really upset when he wasn't given the captaincy of France. For me, I feel like that was reverse racism.
It's because of Emmanuel Macron, man.
Yeah.
How would he feel if his son Mbappe didn't get the captaincy? It's probably in Mbappe's PSG contract that captaincy for France.
Probably to be it didn't make sense to me. It should have been him, but I can get it because the next 10 years he's going to be the Griezmann after 1 or 2 more one more tournament maybe. That's his France career over. So he'd rather just give it to Mbappe from the get go. I get it kind of.
But you know how sorry. Over here, happy birthday, Mbappe. 25 years old. It's like everyone turned 25 this week. Like even Odegaard turned 25 as well. It's like that's just the age.
Mbappe. I mean, like Griezmann's international career is just like every single tournament he's either their best or second best player. They got to the final in 2016. Like this is over a decade. Every single tournament over a decade, they've been absolutely incredible. and he's been their best player.
That 2016 World Cup, was it 2016?
No. It was 2016 Euros where they lost to Portugal, where Pogba was still very, very young, and Ronaldo got injured in that final, and then Eder scored. I was about to call him Bafétimbi Gomes. That's ridiculous.
Close enough, same thing.
Right.
Yeah, and then you got the 2018 World Cup, and then you got the 2020 Euros where they didn't do that well, and you got the 2022 World Cup where they got to the fight. Like Griezmann has just unbelievable.
That 18 World Cup, he was.
I think the only Sorry, I feel like I'm just chatting.
No, go.
I feel like the only black dot on his career, the only black dot is that move to Barcelona. Or his time at Barcelona.
But yeah, like
and
the
even
time
that is not really a black dot because Barcelona at the time were going through a transition and it was the whole
and the thing is though, on paper, the transfer to Barcelona seemed like a good transfer. Like we thought, this makes perfect sense, but it wasn't to be. Let's move on. So tricky tie. Last two, we've got FC Copenhagen versus Man City. Yeah, just Man City.
So Man City. No point.
The football hipster in me wants to say that Copenhagen will give them a tough time, but at the Etihad, Pep only needs to use one of his 5 Infinity Stones, and he'll beat Copenhagen.
Cool. And lastly, we've got Real Madrid versus who?
Leipzig.
RB Leipzig. Again, yeah.
This can be a little bit tricky because from experience, obviously, I played Real Madrid twice in my group. They can really be got at. Like we scored 2 goals against them both times. We scored first both times. If it wasn't for goalkeeping errors in both legs, we could have got results from those games. Like they can definitely be got at, but it's because of heritage and Champions League. Like they'll probably find a way to win, but they can be got at. It won't be comfortable like Man City versus Copenhagen, in my opinion. Like it's a football tie, definitely. Like they can be got at.
I think as well, like Leipzig they've gone from this kind of like quirky hipster football team to a team that's actually developing into a team that's getting a lot of output. Obviously, Xavi Simons is having a great season. They've got players like Dani Olmo, Lewis Openda as well. I think Lewis Openda's got like 11, 12 goals this season. And I think I like Real Madrid, but like I don't know if you guys agree, but I'm kind of getting the calm before the storm. For Real Madrid, not in a good way, not in a bad way, sorry, in a good way. As in, this is Real Madrid's kind of like warm-up season. This is like, Endrick hasn't got there yet. Jude Bellingham is still new. Rodrigo
7 big injuries.
Yeah, I really like Leipzig, even though they're not doing as great as we thought they'd do in the league. Leverkusen have kind of stolen their thunder in the league. I do really like Leipzig, and I think because of this, like Leipzig kind of play this floating 9/10 system. And, Real Madrid, they do kind of narrow the pitch up to kind of, just counter that kind of passing style. I think Xavi Simons might drop deep if he started. Olmo might do well. Alaba just exploded his knee as well, so they won't have David Alaba.
Or Tchouaméni or Camavinga.
Camavinga.
I think they'll be back by February. Like February's a long time.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's like next week. Yeah.
They'll still be fresh though. They'll still be fresh. So, and you know what Real Madrid are like. You know what Carlo Ancelotti's like. You'll turn on Real Madrid on like a random Saturday evening, and you're seeing Spanish people that you never heard of because he wants to rest Tchouaméni for this game or whatever. I trust Don Carlo, but it's going to be. I think that game at the Red Bull Arena. That's a guess, but it's probably the name of the stadium. I think that'll be a good game.
Yeah. So quickly, let's just run through these. So we think Arsenal beat Porto.
Yeah.
Napoli beat Barca.
Yep.
Bayern beat Lazio.
Yep.
I'm going to go PSV.
Yeah.
I'll go Dortmund because I want them in the quarterfinals if I get there. And an easy route to the fucking semi-finals.
Well, what are you saying?
PSV.
Cool. So that's PSV in that one because it's 2-1. PSG or Sociedad?
I'm going Sociedad.
I'm going to go Sociedad too. Zubamendi.
I think when you've got as much talent as PSG have, and you got an elite manager, I think Luis Enrique is elite. I think they'll find a way to get past Real Sociedad, but the quarterfinals is where it ends for them.
Okay.
I feel like because again, from now till February, there's 3 months for them to try and sort things out. I feel like he'll have more of an understanding of his team. Even in League One, they've started to blow away teams again. There was a period when they weren't even top anymore. They weren't even top
They
of the
drew on
league.
the weekend though. They drew 1-1, didn't they?
Yeah, but they won today.
Okay.
And they're looking better. And you're not going to keep Mbappe off the score sheet in the Champions League for too much longer. And I think he'll be the deciding factor in the round of 16.
Okay. But we did vote 2-1, so we're going Sociedad there, unfortunately.
Yep.
Inter Atletico. I'm going to vote for Inter.
I'm going to go Atletico.
Yeah, I'm going to go Atletico as well because I'm a hater.
Oh, damn. 2-1 Atletico. Man City over Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And then Madrid over Leipzig.
Yeah.
So I mean, the quarterfinal, judging by us, is Arsenal, Napoli, Bayern Munich, PSV, Sociedad, Atletico, Man City, Real Madrid. That's a good quarterfinals.
It is. And it's very similar to what it was last year as well. Very similar to what it was last year.
Yeah.
Napoli got to the quarterfinals last year. PSG got to the quarterfinals last year. Well,
we said Sociedad.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, Bayern Munich got to the quarterfinal last year. BVB got to the quarterfinal last year. Man City got to the quarterfinal last year. Inter Milan got to the quarterfinal last year. Like you're getting to the same results as you were getting to before.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, that is our Champions League roundup. We're going to do a whip around the big European leagues. We've got about 20 minutes to go, so we're going to make it nice and sweet. Mo, we're going to start with you since you are our Serie A aficionado. Serie A, what's going on in Serie A? We see that Inter are top.
Yeah, Inter are top.
I thought Juve were top.
Nah, Inter are top.
Not enough XP.
I mean, did that change recently? Oh yeah, Juve drew the other day, didn't they?
Juve drew, and when you looked at it, it was probably Juve played on a Friday and these men played on a Saturday.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think Inter have been like comfortably on top of the league since the start of the season. They've been fantastic, and I don't see anyone getting close to them this year.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about your team, Napoli. Where's it going wrong?
Everywhere. No, I'm joking. Basically, obviously, in the summer, our coach decided he didn't want any part of club football anymore. Mm-hmm. He felt like he has achieved everything in Italian football, and there was nothing left for him. And then our owner decided to go for the cheapest alternative available, which got sacked about a month and a half into the season.
You're joking?
Yeah. Yeah. We're on our second.
This is what I knew. You had a coach last season, and you stole his steering wheel.
No, we stole his steering wheel 2 years ago, and then we gave it back to him when he won the title.
Back. Yeah. And then he left.
And yeah, he left because his contract was over. He had the option to extend for a year. Well, we had the option to extend for a year. We wanted to take it. He said he was done, and there was nothing more for him. The plan was for him to take over Mancini after the Euro 2024. And for him to take a year out, but because Mancini saw 40 million a year, he left Italy and decided to go to Saudi Arabia, and he's obviously the Saudi Arabian national team coach now. And so they had to. That. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, they threw some money at him. So now he's the Saudi Arabian national team coach with Yaya Toure as his assistant coach.
What? Oh my god! Oh my god! Saudi need to. Well, they need to. So
they wanted a new manager for the Asian Cup that's happening in the same time as the African Cup of Nations. So all these Takefusa Kubo and all of those, they're all playing in that. So they had to accelerate Spalletti into the Italy role. We had Rudy Garcia as our coach for about 8 games, and that was a tragic failure. But then we managed to downgrade and get Walter Mazzari, who was our coach when it was 2011, 2012, when it was Cavani, Lavezzi, Hamsik, the Napoli that everyone started to like and notice. And he seemed to be he's a downgrade. Not seems to be. He is a downgrade. He was on the couch. He didn't manage anyone for 2 years, not because he retired, but because no one wanted him. And that's where we are. But we're still fourth. We're still fifth, 1 point off fourth, 5 points off third. It's just we're winning games based on the talent of the players that we have. Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia are single-handedly winning games for us. Politano sometimes as well. We're not we look handicapped, like not in a disability type of way. I'm talking about we just look like we're missing something, and we need a moment of brilliance every single game for us to win and get 3 points. And it's very, very difficult to watch at the moment.
Okay.
I'll just add as well. I saw that you guys got absolutely walloped by Juve B last week.
Frosinone.
Yeah, 4-0 at home. I know
yesterday. I was last night.
Yesterday. Yeah, I know it was a Coppa Italia. I did some research into that, and I was like, Juve have got like three. Frosinone have got like 3 players on loan from Juve.
Yeah.
All at the same time. So Juventus must have been happy about that.
Man. Yesterday, in my opinion, was the worst Napoli performance I've seen in about 13, 14 years. Like since we became decent, one of the worst. This is the worst Napoli team I've seen in the last decade. I know
really?
TJ mentioned at the start, like, this is how Napoli have been for the last decade. I completely disagree. This is the worst I've seen Napoli in the last decade. We've never been this bad. We've never
even on league position, because obviously I don't watch Serie A.
No, league position we may have been 4th or 5th at times. There was a season that when Ancelotti got sacked at Napoli, we were like 8th or 9th, and obviously Gattuso pushed us up. But like in terms of performance, like this start of the season is the worst I've ever seen. Like it's just so bad. And it shouldn't be the case, because we just won the league and we have, in my opinion, still the best, if not the second best squad in Italy. So it shouldn't be the case. It's just very unfortunate.
Aren't you about to sell the Georgian centre attacking mid that you've got?
Macedonian.
Sorry, yeah.
He's going to Leipzig. He's going to be a very good player for them. The thing is, he's not. He's been there for about 4 or 5 years. He's never really established himself as a starter. He's always been that kind of utility player. He's an excellent player. He's an attacking midfielder, but he's played left wing, right wing. He even started as false 9 in the Champions League quarter-final last year, because all 3 of our strikers were done. Yeah.
I will put it out there.
He's a versatility player. He can play in all. He's a very good dribbler. He's a solid player, but he's just never established himself as a starter for us.
Just before we move on from Serie A, I just want to put it out there. I predicted Bologna to do this well at the start of the season. Yeah, man. Thiago Motta, he's a very, very, very good coach. And I've been following Lewis Ferguson and Joshua Zirkzee for a while. I did a Scotland FIFA career mode once, and Lewis Ferguson got to like a 90 overall. So I was like, okay, let me see how this guy plays in real life.
Do you know what pisses me off when you say that? Like, what hurts my heart? Thiago Motta came for an interview to be the manager of Napoli before he went to Bologna. So he was at Spezia last year, if I'm not mistaken. And before was he at Bologna last year?
Yeah, Bologna last year.
Yeah, so he came into Napoli. Everything was all, we were going to pay whatever we needed to pay Bologna for the rest of his contract. And then our owner said something. No, basically it was because our sporting director and our manager left this year. Our sporting director went to Juve. Manager is now the Italy head coach. So Motta wanted to know who the sporting director was going to be. And our arrogant owner said, don't worry, I'm here. That's all you need to know, type thing. And Motta was like, fuck you, I'm not going to come and coach here.
Let me go Bologna. And now he's telling Lewis Ferguson, everyone out there that's listening, watch out for Lewis Ferguson, Scotland centre mid, baller, Joshua Zirkzee. Just while I'm there, Matthias Sule, you probably know a bit more about him, Frosinone winger on loan from Juve. If any of you just want to go watch a highlight comp of a good Argentinian midfielder, go watch Matthias Sule.
How do you spell Sule?
Soule. Italy actually just tried to call him up, and he went, I'm just going to wait for Argentina. Soule.
Soule.
Yeah, Soule. But yeah, Italy tried to call him up, because obviously Italy are just trying to call up anyone at this point. And he was like, yeah, nah, I'm just going to wait until Argentina have got a space for me, even though he's probably 11th on the pecking order for that spot in Argentina.
Cool. I did have some things on Serie A. We're going to keep it moving because time is of the essence. Next, TJ, what did you cover?
Bundesliga.
That's Bundesliga.
Bundesliga.
Fill us in. What's happening over there?
Oh man, I'll be quick and Bundesliga. From the last time I was talking about Bundesliga, not much has happened. Bayern Munich, although they lost 5-1 the other day, I think it was last week, they're progressing. They're progressing well. I think Thomas Tuchel is nearing them to reaching final form. Obviously, Harry Kane. What's it now? 20 goals, 5 assists in 14 games.
What a joke.
Man, he's
So good, man.
like he's so good. And you know what? Like I support Scotland. I'm a Scotland national team supporter. But obviously, you know, there's the English side of me. It's just nice to see a British striker that isn't a bit of a dick. You know, being good elsewhere and other countries. You know, because he played for Spurs, he didn't really get the best marketing across Europe. And it's just nice for the Germans for them to be like, oh wow, okay, fair enough. You do have the best striker. It wasn't Lewandowski. Stuttgart. Obviously, I was absolutely waxing lyrical about Stuttgart last week. Two previous games, 2 draws. They are slowing down a bit. Maybe Guirassy saw that Man United link, and he's now, you know, packed his bags. But Stuttgart, you know, they're progressing. Leipzig as well. Leipzig are starting to heat up. Lewis Openda, he's got 11 goals now. Xavi Simons, and annoyed that he left PSV, and even more annoyed that he went back to PSG and just let them loan him out. But Xavi Simons is probably one of the best under 21 players in Europe right now. 4 goals, 7 assists, but that just doesn't really tell you the story. And then Leverkusen, another team that I was telling everyone at the start of the season, please watch out for Xabi Alonso's. But this is what happens when you give Xabi Alonso, one of the greatest Spanish midfielders of all time. You go, right, implement everything that you've learned from Benitez, implement everything you've learned from Mourinho, implement everything that you've learned from Hansi Flick, even. And
Carlo Ancelotti as well.
Carlo Ancelotti, like Xabi Alonso, he's just been drip fed, you know, tactical masterclasses for his whole career, and he's just doing it now with Leverkusen. I think the biggest question is, can they continue their form? But Granit Xhaka is looking like one of the best centre mids in Europe right now. Just a little Granit Xhaka appreciation there.
No,
Man,
I just wanted to say, because I was looking at Barcelona and their woes, and I was looking. I recall when Xabi Alonso couldn't get into the Spanish team, and Xavi Hernandez was there. And look at them right now as managers. Xavi Hernandez is bleeding at Barca, and the man that couldn't get into the Spain team at a point, Xabi Alonso, is flying. So, you know, like, where did it go wrong? Like, was Xavi Hernandez a fraud? Was he just in a good team? What do you think happened there?
I don't know. I don't think coaches. I don't think playing translates to coaching. I don't know. I don't think that's fair. Very few elite players become elite coaches, in my opinion.
And then we're talking about absorbing, and Xavi Hernandez played under.
No, but Xavi Hernandez. First of all, he only stayed at Barcelona. The only one he could have got anything from that was an elite level manager was probably just Pep Guardiola.
What about what's his face?
The fact
the mixed race guy before Pep, who was he?
Frank Rijkaard.
Not him, Spanish guy, man. Del Bosque.
Oh, Vicente Del Bosque.
I mean, but I'm talking about elite level coaches. Like when you look at Xabi Alonso, you're talking about Carlo Ancelotti, one of the greats. Jose Mourinho, one of the greats. Hansi Flick, a very, very good manager. Rafael Benitez, a very, very good manager.
Yep.
So that, and I feel like Xabi Alonso is more even the style of play he was a little bit different to Xavi, so he can I don't know, it's just
it's a weird one, because then you think so, but then you look at people like Pirlo who didn't have a good time as a manager.
Italian, man, there's something about Italian coaches that I really don't like.
Yeah, Gattuso's doing well, man. Wrote an article about him this week. Gattuso's really, really doing well at Marseille, man. Since he went to Marseille, I've been watching him. I mean, they've improved. Like, I mean, there was a point when he took over that they were like 13th in the table. Now they're 3 points off top 3. They're 6th place. They drew today. They shouldn't have drawn, but they're doing very, very well. And he won a trophy at Napoli. Gattuso did. He won the Coppa Italia at Napoli. AC Milan. He got them back to relevance. So.
I hear it. I do have this thing about Italian coaches where I think Italian coaches are very good, but maybe it's just a different style of coaching to me, because Italian coaches.
De Zerbi's Italian.
I don't like De Zerbi. I said this on the pod on Sunday. I don't think De Zerbi is. I think he's good, but I think he's so painfully overrated.
I don't think so at all. When he was at Sassuolo, he was playing the exact same level of football. He was guys like Berardi, Raspadori, Jeremy Boga, like they were playing something like Locatelli in midfield. Like he brought all of these players to the forefront, and they're playing for some of the biggest teams in the world now. And like I've always rated De Zerbi. And that's it's a Napoli legend, so maybe there's a little bit of a bias there. But
No, I hear you. I think he's a good manager, but like he won best manager in the world, or something like that last season, or like top manager in Europe or something. When my coach is he wouldn't even be able to clean Unai Emery's shoes.
I don't know about it. I think they're the same caliber of coach.
Oh God, it's not a conversation.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. Unai Emery, European. I mean, he's won a lot more, but then again, he's also a lot older and has been around a lot more. Yeah. So saying in the same caliber, it's kind of unfair to Unai, who's actually been around and done so much.
5 years time, I think is a better gauge of.
I hear it.
But like the Derby is very good at playing one certain style of football. Unai Emery is very good at playing five. And I think when it comes to tactical versatility, it's very good. And also, like as much as I like to look at stats, I just look at output. De Zerbi took Brighton from 7th to 6th, and then at that same time, Unai Emery took Villa from 17th to 7th, 1 point behind De Zerbi. And Unai Emery's also beaten De Zerbi 6-0. So when we talk about tactics,
I watched that game. It was a Saturday morning kickoff. I watched that game. It was a very interesting game of football.
It's probably the most dominating tactical overhaul that I have seen.
No, I think the Man City game was probably more dominant in my opinion. I think that was.
Yeah, but I think it's only one. Yeah, but I'm not going to go on about Aston Villa because in the short time that Jess has known me, he's probably heard more about Aston Villa than he has in his whole life.
100%. Before we move on, I just want to say that the guy on our screen is Florian Wirtz, just so we are aware. You heard it here first.
Before we move on from Bundesliga, just a couple shout outs as well. Chris Füllreich, Stuttgart winger, 4 goals, 5 assists in 15 games. Just great winger, good dribbler, very good pace over short distances. If I'm Brentford, if I'm Fulham, if I'm Crystal Palace, I'm going after Chris Füllreich. He'll cost a Premier League team about 15-20 million. And he's kind of like a B-Tech German Jack Grealish. And Omar Mamouche from Frankfurt as well, just another shout out.
Egyptian player. I've always rated Omar Mamouche, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Egypt. Omar Mamouche is one that I always have an eye on when it comes to African Cup of Nations, and he's always I really like him.
It'll be interesting to see him at the AFCON, to be fair, because he's killing it for Frankfurt this season. 7 goals, 3 assists in 15 games. He's just he's one of the new batch of strikers. Pacey, lanky, good finisher, very good player. And again, if you're a Premier League side, it's probably going to set you back about 25-30 mil. So any Premier League managers or scouts that need a striker, Omar Mamouche is your guy.
There we go. 2 more leagues to run over. Let's go straight to Uber Eats. There's not much to say about this league.
Apart from Gattuso. I was just looking at which we've touched up on.
I was looking at their squad. I didn't know they had Ismail Assar.
And Dai Aubameyang's been absolutely incredible, by the way. 7 goals and 5 assists in his last 5 games. Absolutely magnificent.
And they've also got Jeffrey Kondogbia.
Yeah, they had a very that's why their start was so worrying. The manager got fired after like 4 games, or it was 6 games he got fired in. Because they spent so much money on some like really good young players to kind of, I mean, they got Onahi in January. They brought in Amin Harit from the Bundesliga, another Moroccan, and they started slowly. But then since Gattuso has come, they've improved dramatically, and now they're in 6th place, a few points off the European places.
Cool. Sorry, I was just looking at the squad still. I saw Vitinha, but that's a different guy.
Vitinha is a striker. He's actually pretty decent, to be fair.
Portuguese.
Yeah, big fan.
Cool. Where are they in the league? Because they're not on my.
They're 6th.
Okay, so just short.
Just underneath, yeah. Before today, they were like 3 points off. Like they were like 4 points off Monaco in 3rd, because it's still quite congested up there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but.
Yeah, there's about what 5 points split between 5th and 9th.
Yeah. So it's very congested in there.
Okay, guys. Since we got Mbappe on screen, I had his stats up earlier. The guy's got over 200 goals in his career.
Yeah.
300 goals, 400 apps, over 300 goals. He just turned 25. Like, do we rate him? Because I personally rate him, but then there's also the argument that he's only doing it in Uber Eats. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I think he's the best player in the world at the moment. I think we've done this thing in football where in the past 10 years we've gone, oh, he's the best player in the world, and he's gone, well, and someone's gone, well, look at what league they play in, or how many Champions Leagues have they won? Because Mbappe doesn't have a Champions League at this moment in time. And I just think if you don't watch Mbappe play over 5 games and you don't think that this is the best player in the world, I don't really know what you're watching. He fast, quick, strong finisher, light, good touch. Like he's got everything. And that's why when people complain about Mbappe and they go, oh, his attitude or whatever, I go, well, I'm not going to lie. If you were the president of France as well, then you would probably have about the same attitude. So yeah, he's the best. He just needs to go Madrid. If Mbappe goes Madrid, and then we've got a Madrid front three of Rodrigo, Mbappe.
But isn't Mbappe's problem or his issue, wasn't it the fact that he didn't want to play number 9? I mean, he's not going to go to Madrid and play left wing because we know there's already someone that's occupying that position. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And
yeah,
like where's he going to play?
I don't know much about.
He has to play up front if he goes. He has to, because he's not going to play on the wings because that's Rodrigo and Vinicius. If he wants to play right wing, feel free to. But he's not going to take Vinicius' position.
To be honest, I think we need to wait until we see who Real Madrid's successor is in terms of management, because obviously Don Carlo's leaving at the end of the season.
It's not sure he's leaving.
Oh, it's not sure, but you know,
he's heavily. There was some point he was heavily linked to the Brazil job, and
a journalist said to him, they said, "Oh, are you going to Brazil?" And Don Carlo basically just went, "We'll see." And as a in the modern day football, your PR team will tell you if you don't want to go there, say that you're not going there. If there's no chance of you going there, but I don't think Real Madrid are going to win the Champions League this year. And if they don't win La Liga, then he's definitely gone, 100% gone. And it would be like a nice kind of, they'll usher him out. But I think under Ancelotti, I am seeing a bit of tactical stagnation, just a tiny bit. And it I can see Real Madrid's just sorry. Papa Perez just kind of going, right, 4-2-4, we'll fit in Mbappe somehow, and we'll just go like that. I think Real Madrid, they're going to be scary after next season. It doesn't really matter what manager they bring in, as long as it's a competent manager that can deal with a bunch of egos. But yeah, I'll use it as a segue just to move on to La Liga slightly. Just the man on screen, Jude Bellingham. Other than Mbappe, probably the second best player in the world. And again, it's very nice to see that it's a young boy from Britain. A shame that he wasn't scouted by Aston Villa 10 or so years ago, but he's what Jude Bellingham is doing in La Liga right now is unprecedented. It's stupid that everyone saw him as a box midfielder 2 years ago. Everyone saw him as a couple of years ago. We were all like, "Oh yeah, box midfielder. He'll kind of snot along Rice." But now it's like, no, he might be a false 9. He can be a false 9 if he really wants to be. He can be a number 8 if he really wants to be. He can be an 8.5 if he really wants to be. He wants to play that floating 8. And it's what you call pure football. He can score with his right. He can score with his left. He can dribble. He can beat you 1-on-1. He can pass around you. He can move off the ball. He's got incredible low center of gravity. He's fast. Absolute engine on him. Long shots, heading. I don't know what the guy can't do.
Left foot. Left foot. 20-yarders. Haven't seen it yet.
I don't know if at this
point, Jess just wants to build a bionic football player. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, to be fair, but
yeah.
But no, Jude Bellingham, if I can just add on to what TJ was saying, bro, like, I've never seen it in my life, bro. Someone that can just go to Real Madrid at the age of 19, 20 and just literally just take it by storm as if you are meant to be. Like, it's just unbelievable. I think it's a big hit for the Premier League. They didn't come to the Premier League, by the way, because usually English talents never ever deviate from the Premier League. Like, usually Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, whatever. But the fact that he went to Real Madrid and said, you know what, I'm gonna take the biggest club ever by the scruff of the neck, and I'm going to be the face of this club. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it, and
we don't deserve him.
Thank God Jurgen Klopp didn't get his hands on him, because that would have been Premier Leagues on Premier Leagues, bro. It's unbelievable. Like, he's he's perfection, bro. I saw him live twice this season. Obviously, 'cause I went to home leg and away leg at Napoli versus Real Madrid, and it's just, bro, you can't get the ball off him, and then he'll get the ball off you, and he'll run with it 60 yards, and then his decision making is perfection. He'll always pick out the right pass. He'll always cut in when he needs to cut. It's unbelievable, man. Absolutely ridiculous kind of football player. Never seen anything.
Does the Premier League see Jude Bellingham ever?
Yeah.
Nah, there's no way. Maybe
Later on.
Maybe after if he's won a couple of Champions Leagues and then he's just coming for, you know what I'm trying to say, like the swan son, like just kind of, all right, cool. You know what? I'll go to Man United. I'll go to Liverpool just for the sake of it. He's 28, 29. He's won everything now. He doesn't need to prove anything anymore. He's already one of the best players in the world. There's no.
And you know what Real Madrid football players are like. Like we never. How many players do we actually see retiring at Real Madrid? Like great players. Like Benzema didn't retire there. Varane didn't retire there. Sergio Ramos didn't retire there.
Yeah, but that's when they squeezed all the juice out of them and it was late. You feel me? Like you've seen Varane now. Varane a season and a half removed from Real Madrid. You can see Man United fans are seen as a liability. Casemiro the same thing.
They've dropped off definitely. Exactly. But I think Jude later on in his time, because as amazing as Real Madrid is, I think there is something to be said about the kind of toxicity around the fans and the media in Madrid. And I think a lot of players do get tired of it. And obviously Jude Bellingham is British, and like we've seen the player that Jude Bellingham is, egotistical wise. He hasn't got like a bad ego, but it takes a pretty confident 20-year-old to go do what he's doing and then just look racist Spanish fans in the face and be like, yeah, that's me.
Like his celebration is so cocky. I've never he's just a perfect football player, man. It's unbelievable.
Gareth Southgate needs to be tried on treason if he manages to ruin. It's so easy. It is so easy to get something out of Jude Bellingham. Just give him a Declan Rice, give him another runner, and you're going to have the best midfield in Europe. But I know for a fact Gareth Southgate is going to find a way to make Jude Bellingham not look.
Even if you had the best manager in the world, I don't think he would win anything anyway. Personally.
Really?
I don't think so.
You don't think?
No, France, even like. I mean, England, first of all, England, in my opinion, have some of the best players in the world. You've got the best striker in the world. You've got two of the best midfielders in the world in Rice and Bellingham. Your defense is still a bit very, very shaky. But like England are good enough to compete. Don't get it wrong. But I think England's ceiling is semi-finals in major tournaments, especially in the World Cup. I think there's teams better than them in the World Cup. And in Europe as well, I have France over them. I have Portugal over them as well.
Portugal?
Definitely Portugal. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Rafael Leao, Otavio, Ruben Neves, Ruben Diaz at the back, João Cancelo. Like they've got some. Portugal are very, very underrated if you look at their team, and they always tend to do well. And
I'm not an England fan, but I'll come back and say Trent Alexander-Arnold, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, Harry Kane, Ollie Watkins. But like, I don't even support England, but I think you're right with the defense, and I don't really see an identity with England. I think all the best international teams they've got are really nailed on identity. It's why I don't really see Portugal doing much as well, because Portugal don't really have much of a national identity, because they did have, they've based their identity for the past 10 years is no matter how good you are, this is Ronaldo's office, and when he comes to work, we all come to help him. But yeah, I don't know. Going back to Jude Bellingham and La Liga, I just want to put out some players to watch from La Liga. 19-year-old Girona winger Savio, 4 goals, 5 assists in 17 games. One of Europe's best for take-ons and dribbles. If you want to go watch a winger / a number 10, plays for Girona, obviously, then go watch a Girona game and watch Savio. He's only 19, 0.6 goals or assists per 90. Elusive, tricky, just needs to improve on his passing a bit. Artem Dovbyk, I signed him on a Football Manager save like 3 years ago. Crazy to see that he's now top of the Liga. He's 26 years old, 10 goals, 4 assists in 16 games. I can see Dovbyk going to a Nottingham Forest because he just is a big tall number 9. And then Brian Zaragoza, however you want to say it, plays for the second worst team in the league, Grenada. But he's joining Bayern next summer, so if Bayern are going to invest in him, then he's good. Pacey, skillful winger, loves to cut inside. Just want to shout out Brian Zaragoza. But I think the main thing with La Liga right now is, I'll try and just wrap it up in a couple of sentences. It's Barcelona are trash. Although they're 3rd in the league or wherever they are, Man United are 5th or 6th in the Premier League, but we all know they should be 10th, 11th. Barcelona are trash. They literally scraped a win against Almeria today, 3-2. Sergio Roberto. Oh no, they're fourth. Sorry, yeah. Sergio Roberto had to save Barcelona, which if you're relying on Sergio Roberto to be the main attacker of your team, then there is an issue. Lewandowski, it's time. Go back to Lech Poznan. See out your days in my dear beloved Poland, because Lewandowski, he has fallen off a cliff. He still has 11 GA, but he looks 35 now. He just looks 35 now. A lot of Barcelona fans are saying, "Oh, well, wait for Vitor Roque. Wait for Vitor Roque." An 18-year-old Brazilian kid is not the answer for one of the greatest teams in the league, in the world. And they've just been investing poorly. Rafinha scored today, but he doesn't look like the Rafinha that they thought they'd buy. João Felix might have scored a goal against Atletico and angered his old fans, but he's not really doing much as well. And Xavi, I've actually got a quote from Xavi today after the 3-2 loss to Almeria. He said, "My team worries me. The first half worries me. It's unacceptable. We need the soul we showed in the second half. I want the team that leaves everything on the field. That's what won us 2 trophies last year. This isn't 2010 Barca. We don't have the quality of 2010 Barca." Scathing words.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to be a genius to see that. Like, you don't have. I mean, there's probably not one player that gets into that 2010 team that they've got now. That's not.
No. When it comes to their transfers, I just feel like they don't really think things through. Like, remember about 2 years ago?
They're a terribly run team. I'll always say this, by the way. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but this is something I feel kind of strongly about. I think Barcelona are a terrible organization from top to bottom. Like, they were just lucky and blessed to have the greatest player of all time. Like, take out Messi's 15 years, and the conversation is not between Barcelona and Real Madrid. It's Barcelona and Valencia. Like, it's not even a conversation. They had one Champions League before Messi became a thing. Like, they're not louder. They were Barcelona in the 1980s and 90s were losing 4-0 to what was it? This team was it Slavia Prague, and them man there, like in European games, they were finishing bottom in the Champions League groups. Like, it's not everything that Barcelona lives and dies with Lionel Messi. It shouldn't be a discussion. Real Madrid and Barcelona, it shouldn't be a discussion. Real Madrid,
because of that Lionel Messi clout, they were able to get players to help Lionel Messi. David Villa, Luis Suarez, Neymar,
exactly.
Jordi Alba, all these players were like, "I want to go play with Messi."
Dani Alves. You think Dani Alves is going to Barcelona ahead of Real Madrid if play with Marcelo and Dani Alves on left back and right back with Cristiano Ronaldo? Come on, man, they're not going to Real Madrid. I mean, sorry, they're not going to Barcelona.
They were eating off of La Masia, and they still low-key are eating off La Masia. Obviously, Pedri, Gavi, Lamine Yamal, Balde, I think it is.
Pedri was not from La Masia though. He made his professional debut elsewhere.
Las Palmas.
Yeah,
Las Palmas.
Pedri made his debut somewhere else. That's not La Masia.
Did he play at any Barcelona academic level?
I don't think so.
No? So
he made his professional debut elsewhere. I guarantee. I'm sure of that.
This is news to me.
Pedri.
Yes, he played. He didn't play any youth level at Barcelona. He played. He made his professional debut. He played 36 games for Las Palmas in the 2019-20 season. I think he was like 17 years old, and then that's when they signed him in 2020.
I'll give it that. That's pretty.
So he's not one of the. He's not La Masia. I mean, there's no Busquets coming through. There's no Iniestas and Xavis coming through. So it's not like.
I mean, I've got a double look now that Gavi did come from La Masia, but they've got Gavi and Lamine Yamal, who, is Gavi Barcelona? Barcelona B, but they signed him from Real Betis in 2015 when he was.
It's not La Masia though.
He was 10. Sorry, he was 10.
Saying Pedri's La Masia is like saying Samuel Eto'o's La Masia because they signed him when he was 16 years old. Like,
Gavi is La Masia though, and Lamine Yamal. And Lamine Yamal, he is, I thought that it was just football hipsters just chatting about another La Masia product, but I saw Lamine Yamal playing. He's gravy.
Ansu Fati's another one, to be fair.
He's also finished.
He's second in the pecking order against after Solly March at Brighton. So
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I'm not going to give Ansu Fati much ratings. Injuries though, but yeah, La Liga is how La Liga.
Even Ansu Fati they bought from Sevilla. Well, they bought him when he was like 12, but nonetheless, he's from Sevilla.
I guess
Guys,
like
we're gonna
Sorry.
wrap it up. It's cool. Quick one before we wrap up is that there are Super League reports coming through, and also British Super League reports coming through. But we'll cover that next time because time is of the essence. Mo, salad,
Yes, bro.
no salad, roll salad, go salad.
See, I swear I don't like East Africans.
No, bro, thank you for joining us.
Always, anytime, man.
You actually know what you're talking about. It's crazy. When we do the other stuff, you just like waffle, but over here you actually brought the serious talk. I like it. Oh, I know what it is. You specialize in European football because you haven't got who's your Premier League team?
Do you know it was growing up? It was Chelsea, but then about 5-6 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick to my one team in Napoli, and
Makes sense
because it was always Napoli and Chelsea, and then I kind of just
yeah. No, that's a good choice. Forget Chelsea, but no, bro. Thank you.
Always,
where
bro.
can people find you? Like you just Twitter or
Just Twitter, bro. Just Twitter. Everything I do is on my Twitter anyway. So
yeah, I've got you in the description at Mohammed A Salad, right?
yeah.
Cool. And TJ, again, you're good when you talk about Villa. When you talk about Villa, it gets a bit shaky. But
Yo, next time you're talking about Villa, bring me on, man. I love talking about Villa.
No.
man.
No.
Love it.
No, guys, that is it from the
talk about
Courtney
Unai
Corner.
Emery for days.
Please don't, guys. That's it for the Courtney Corner, guys. You lot have been great. If you haven't liked already, please feel free to like now, and we will see you Monday morning. Christmas. Peace out.